What's going on, everyone? Camjo here, and today we're going to be building a dashboard with ShadCN UI and Next.js. So without further ado, let's get started. So now you might be wondering, what is ShadCN? ShadCN is basically a group of React components that are fully open source, fully customizable, built on top of Radix UI using Tailwind CSS, and there's no npm package that you have to install to get this working in your project. So it's really a great tool for front-end developers to have in 2024. So without further ado, let's dive right in. To start out, we're first going to need to create our Next.js project by typing npx create next app, then the name of our app. So for this example, I'm going to call it ShadCN tutorial. And basically this is going to create our application using the next app. So yes, we would like to use TypeScript. We don't need ESLint. We want Tailwind CSS because ShadCN uses Tailwind. We're not going to use the source directory, and we are going to use the app router. We don't need to change the import. And now this is going to install. So now we're going to cd into the folder that we just made. So I'm going to cd into ShadCN tutorial, and we're going to run npx shadcn-ui at latest init. And basically what this is going to do is initialize ShadCN in our Next.js project so that we can use their components. It's going to ask us which style we would prefer. So I'm just going to go with the default one for now. A base color, we can go with the default one. We would like to use CSS variables, just allows us to use variables similar to Daisy UI. And then it's going to create our project for us. So we got a success. So now let's jump into the code and see what ShadCN has to offer. All right, so we've opened up our project here, and we can see that we have a couple new folders that aren't usually in a Next.js project. So first we have our components folder, which is currently empty, but this is where all of the components that you create are stored. So when you install components via ShadCN, as well as when you create your own components, this is where they're going to be stored. We have a lib folder, which basically just holds all of the utility functions. So here we can see it's just a basic CN function for Tailwind merge. This is default created by ShadCN when you use the init function. And we also have a components file. And this is basically ShadCN just storing all of your components that you install in one place so that if you ever need to reinstall them, it can do that. And it also keeps track of how they're configured and set up. So now we're ready to start adding ShadCN components to our project. So I'm here on the ShadCN documentation, and we're under the components section, and I'm looking at the card component right here. And every Shad component on the documentation comes with an installation guide. You can either do it through the CLI or manually, but for this tutorial, we're going to be using the CLI because it's quicker and easier. So you're basically just going to copy this command for whichever package manager you are using, and then you are going to follow the guide here on how to get the component configured in your project. So let's go ahead and install this and set up the card component. Okay, so we're just going to go to our terminal and paste that command in and run the command. And basically Shad will add the card component only, and it gives us the notification that it's done. And you can see the components folder now has a subfolder in it called UI. And this is where Shad will default install all of its components to, because they want you to keep components like navbar, footer, and other things just directly in the components folder. And then more like fragmented components go in the UI folder, such as buttons, typography, and other things. So we can go into this card component here, and we see we actually have a full-scale React component. And this is obviously a very in-depth React component, but we can now import this card into our homepage and see it on our screen. Okay, so we can now navigate over to our app folder and go to our page.tsx file and delete all of the default stuff that Next.js puts there. This will just free up the page for us. And then we can go back to the Shad documentation and copy this import from our components folder, because that's where Shad default installs the component. So now we have all of these things such as card content, description, title, etc. So then we're going to copy the example right here, and we can just paste this in here and format it a little bit. And we can also spin up the card component, and we can see that we actually have a full-scale React component. And this is obviously a very in-depth React component, but we can now import this card into our homepage and see it on our screen. Okay, so we can now dev server while we're doing this by running npm run dev, and this will put it on localhost 3000. So we click this and it will take us to our card. So now we have a pretty blank screen, so we're going to dive into how to theme your ShadCN UI and allow for full customization using CSS variables. Here we're looking at Shad's theme page, where you can see they have many different examples of themes, as well as the ability to customize your own theme, light mode, dark mode, different colors, etc. So we're going to be implementing the switch between light mode and dark mode now, so that you can easily toggle which one you prefer in your project. So first we're going to navigate over to our console, and we're basically going to have to stop the server and then run npm install next.js. This is going to install an npm package that will help us manage our light mode and dark mode. Alright, after this package is installed, we're going to create a theme provider. We're going to do this in the components folder, and basically this is going to allow us to control which mode we're on, either light mode or dark mode. Theme provider, not controller. And that's a TSX file, and we're going to just copy and paste the code from the ShadCN documentation. And basically this just uses the theme provider from Next Themes and allows us to actually handle the theme switching. Alright, now we have the theme provider set up. We're going to navigate over to our layout page so that we can make sure the theme is on all of our pages. So we're just going to import our theme provider from our components folder, and then we are going to wrap our children in a theme provider. So we're just going to separate out the body tags here, and we are going to create a theme provider. Attribute will be class. The default theme will be system. We can change this to either light or dark if we prefer. And we're just going to wrap this theme provider, or the children, with the theme provider. Okay, so now that we've got the layout set up, let's go ahead and change this system to dark so that we get dark mode on our website. So now when we go back to the site, we can see that dark mode has been initialized. So for customizing themes, Shad makes it pretty easy by offering you some default themes. Themes can be changed by going to the global CSS file and replacing these base variables right here. And we can actually check out Shad's what they offer in terms of colors. So for example, if we wanted to go with a blue, we just hit copy code, and it will give us both the light mode as well as the dark mode variables for it, which is quite good and comes in handy so we don't have to convert anything. So now we come back to our website and we can see we have the blue background. So this is actually really easy way to get your themes and light mode, dark mode off the ground. And we can also add controllers which allow users of our website to set if they want light mode or dark mode. How's it going, everyone? I hope you enjoyed this video. This was part 1 of my ShadCN tutorial series. And in this video, we covered setting up your project with Next.js and ShadCN. We covered installing components with the Shad CLI, and we also covered theming your page with Shad's themes. So in the next video, we're going to get started with building our dashboard layout and getting everything set up there. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and also follow me on Twitter for the latest updates. Thank you, and have a good one.